Hey folks, welcome back to another episode of Biz Talks. My name is Rick Gutierrez, your host and your business advocate. Hey, when we tell you that we have a great lineup of business experts on this show, we definitely do. We come here to learn everything we can, absorb all the information that these experts come on board and basically just enlighten our day and help us with our business. And so it's a great pleasure to have these experts on the show, as well as being able to provide us with great content. And so one of my great friends, Mr. Jim Bradfield, is with us for this show, and we are going to be talking about a lot of great things that have to do with communications and all of those great things. So Mr. Bradfield, welcome back to the show.
Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it. Good to be here.
Yeah, man, you've been on the show a couple of times, and every single time it's a great conversation. You have been with in the communications, field for a very long time. But not only that, your family has been for many generations have been in the same field, and so we appreciate all the support that you guys have done. So, what do you say we get into talking a little bit about how you've been able to support a lot of airports worldwide? You've been supporting the aviation market for a very long time. Let's talk about a little bit quick rundown on the airports that you've supported over the years. Perhaps you, or maybe some of your generations back, because you guys go way back as far as this in this field. So, what types of innovative services you developed, in these airports?
Yeah, so we started out at the Grantley Adams Airport in Barbados. We actually developed the world's first and only fully wireless airport. What happened is they had a problem with plumbing and electrical, if you can believe that. It all froze and broke. And so they needed to move the airport about a mile up the road. So they called us and brought us in. We developed the only wireless airport there. And it turned out to be an innovation for the world's first wireless check-in. So check-in counters were always, you had to go up there and get a paper ticket and all that kind of thing. So we were the first guys to bring that in to be fully wireless. And then we kind of moved from there to San Francisco Airport, SFO, and we innovated the baggage scanning. So when your bag tag now has barcode scanners on it, we started that with AirInc. And what you do is they used to go out with just a pad and try to write down the numbers and everything. You never could get a plane in a layover for less than 2 hours because you had to scan the bag tag. And you had to write it all down and everything. Now they can scan it over the wireless, and that's the thing that we helped them develop. So that actually works really well. It's allowed them to be like 50% more efficient in their baggage handling. And then we also did facial recognition for LAX. And for LAX, what they were trying to do was determine what was going to happen. They were really concerned about Y2K, and it turned out that for good reason, they had some problems happen at Y2K, but
Mm-hmm.
they wanted to do facial recognition for terrorism, which eventually developed, and some we'll talk about a little bit later. But it turns out that that was a pretty good innovation because now it allows people to be able to log in and you can check in with your facial recognition instead of an ID. And then in Doha Airport in Qatar, um, we we did a bunch of work there for wireless and networking and everything. And of course, lots and lots of regional airports all across the country. And our major airport right now that we are handling is the O'Hare Airport in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the very biggest airports. And we actually are doing a lot of work there. We do all of the networking, all of the wireless, all the security, everything for baggage handling. We support everybody and everything, and all the passengers that come through there. So anyway, that's a lot of work.
Absolutely. I mean, I can only imagine how much work that is, and they got the right company to go in there and take care of all of that. But with that being said, what kind of brought to my mind was, what are some of the major wireless network security concerns, within these airports? I know that, some of these concerns affect all types of airports, the small and, medium and large. So what are some of those major wireless security concerns that they have?
Yeah, one of the things that's happened to a lot of different airports. I'll talk a little bit about the actual um, passenger um, issues. So what happens when you go into an airport and you sit there and you see, oh, there's wireless here, and we can get on the wireless network and all that. One of the problems that happens is that that wireless is not necessarily secure.
Mm-hmm.
And people are saying, oh gosh, I forgot to mail this, so I got to pay this online. I forgot to check my bank account. I forgot to do, whatever. It's very, you don't want people to know about it. We talked about dark web before. Well, what happens is there are four airports, believe it or not, in the country, in the US, that have just a really big secure risk for passengers who get on wireless, not on the airplane, but inside the airport. Turns out that San Diego, you have a 41% chance of getting onto a risky network. And at John Wayne Airport in Santa Ana, you have 33% chance. At Houston, it's Houston Hobby is 21% chance. And then in a place called Southwest Florida, which is obviously in Southwest Florida, you have 26%. Now, the biggest issue is um, we had a lot of breach attempts on O'Hare Airport, for example, and these guys were absolutely after us. You couldn't even believe it. They just kept hammering and hammering and hammering and hammering at the firewall, and so we had to keep the firewalls updated and had to add new firewalls. And the check-in, situation has been upgraded so that if you notice now when you go in, um, you don't even have to keep presenting your ID and all that kind of stuff now. What happens is when you look through in the TSA counter, you stand there and you'll scan something, or it'll just do facial recognition depending on the
Mm-hmm.
airport and what they have. And that really has helped a lot of people, because it used to be back in the old days, you could just take a paper ticket and just give it to somebody, and it didn't matter. They didn't care who was carrying that ticket. And so now they actually really care, and they scan your ID and look at your face and do facial recognition to make sure that you're a real person. So, that's a
Absolutely.
big deal.
Yeah, no, I think that that is a phenomenal deal, because I actually happened to experience it last year. At around this time last year, I went on a cruise, and just sailing out of the port of New Orleans there. I was just blown away with the fact that it's just nothing but facial recognition. You step in like 2 seconds and you're done, and you're through the line and everything. So it works pretty amazingly. So let's discuss a little bit the overall security initiatives in which you and your team have participated to combat some of those terrorist activities within these airports.
Yeah, well, you mentioned facial recognition, and I've been talking about it. That's
Mm,
probably the biggest.
okay.
We started doing that in the 90s, and in really early 2000s, that was starting to develop. Now, since 2019, you've got global entry. You're talking about like on the cruise ship, that's a global entry kind of
Yep.
thing,
Yep.
right? So if you belong to global entry or have the mobile passport control or any of those kind of things, all of that um, already goes to facial recognition. So when you go through the checkout line, for example, there are the to the go to the baggage area after you get through from an international port, it will already have put something up on the screen for the guard, and he's going to look at you and say, "Yep, you're that guy, you're that person." Well, it also has terrorist watch lists, and one of the things that we've been working with several of the U.S. government agencies and Interpol and some others is working on terrorist watch lists. And
Okay.
we've been making sure that these video cameras and anything else that are um, put into the airports all have a facial recognition capability. And that's one of the really biggest things there. You know, it's not necessarily that somebody's going to fake a document so much is that, you know, they make you take your glasses off, you know, you've got your glasses off, you've got your hat off and whatever else, your mask, and they're looking for, you know, all points on your
Hmm.
face. And so they can tell who you are. There's very little opportunity now for a terrorist to pop on a plane. I'm not saying that it won't be done or can't be done, but you know, this day and age with all the video security that we have and the highlighted videos, um, it's just an absolute wonder that you know that that's how they keep it under control.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, hey, Jim, it's an honor to have you on the show as always. I mean, we've run out of time for this particular segment, but you know, we're going to continue to carry the conversation as we go on in different shows. But it's a great topic. Thank you for the work that you guys are doing to keeping all of the network security going on with NAS Wireless and all the work that you guys are doing at the airport. So we appreciate you being here, and we'll see you on the next episode. And so, folks, we're going to go into a quick commercial break. We'll be right back with another expert. Stay right there.